Good morning and welcome to Outnumbered on this beautiful day. It is Good Monday. Is it Good Monday they call it?
Easter Monday.
Easter Monday.
Yeah.
Good Friday. You know, I got used to the Good Friday, so everything this season is good. My name is Ramsey and it's good to have you on Outnumbered this morning once again. With me in the studio, you can see, I know someone is already thinking, this guy red by the left, red by the side, black at the middle.
The blood of Jesus.
Blood of Jesus, blood of Jesus.
Resurrected. Yeah.
I'm demonstrating the sorrow. Black,
No.
black.
In celebratory mode.
He's resurrected. So we're not sorrowful anymore. All right. Good morning, Antonia.
Good morning, Ramsey.
You're looking Easter.
Happy Easter.
Same here. Wish you the same. The Easter was wonderful. Good morning, Mercy.
Good morning, Ramsey. How are you?
I'm fine. Beautiful.
Good to see you.
Good to see you here today. All right. Let's take you straight to the headlines that we have for the day. The Punch newspaper is the first paper. And the first headline says, Naira closes at 1,309 to dollar as bank sells $2.5 billion. The details of that you can get on page 22 of the Punch newspaper. Naira closes at 1,309 to $1. Then bank sells at $2.5 billion. Well, that's fair enough. Then on page 21 of the Punch newspaper, I have this one which says, Dangote 106 others get tax holiday over 2.5 trillion naira investment. Then I have the big story on the Punch newspaper which says, Easter, governors, senators beg Nigerians, says hardship over soon. How soon? How soon? We've been hearing this. Even the president himself came out sometimes back to say, well, the hardship will soon be over, that Nigerians should endure with him. Two riders to that story, and I'm going to take it quickly. Tinubu will steer Nigeria to greatness, says Zulum. Other governors preach love, condemn crimes. The second rider says, sets deadline on war against terror. Kuka tells president. Pope seek peace in Africa. All right, finally from the Punch newspaper, please begin search as Benue man drones in Ogun State. The details of that you can get on page 5 of the Punch newspaper, and that's going to be the size of the headlines from the Punch newspaper this morning. As I hand you over to Antonia for the next paper.
Thank you, Ramsey. On the Daily Times newspaper, the first headline will be taken just below the header says, Bishop Kuka to federal government, provide templates that will put Nigeria on path of national healing. And we have a rider to that headline, which says the path must include deliberate policy of inclusion that will end immoral culture of nepotism. Now, the details of that is on page 4 of the Daily Times newspaper. The next headline says, Army will ensure total defeat of insurgents and others. This is coming from the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. And the story continues on page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper. Also, we have Tinubu's promise to transform Abuja turning out successful. This is coming from the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, and the details of that story is on page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper. And finally, NDLEA intercepts Qatar-bound illicit drugs concealed in cassava courts, shuns 5 million naira bribe. Now, we've been seeing how people hide illicit drugs in kegs of palm oil, some carrying woods in trucks, in cassava courts. Just imagine they were not intercepted, and then you sell this cassava. There's just a lot going on in my mind concerning this. Now, the details of that is on page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper, and that will be the size of the headlines from the Daily Times. Over to you, Mercy.
All right, thank you, Fanny. I was going to say something about what you said about the cake. Yeah. Well, Nigerians would always find a way, because I'd always say something about where there's a will, there is a way. So right now we move straight to this day newspaper this morning, and the biggest story that's coming for attention is inspired by Senegalese election. Atiku rallies opposition to form coalition. Now, he went further and said, outcome gives hope to future of constitutional democracy, where you find out if the outcome would actually buttress or if it's going to be a democratic one at that. But then let's move straight to the next story on this day. Obaseki, Oberevori Yahaya, Ododo, others felicitate Christians at Easter. That's continued on page 5 of this day newspaper this morning. And now to the next story where the Kika says Remi Tinubu, of course, that's the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Getting Nigeria back on track is responsibility of all. That is equally continued on page 5 of this day newspaper. And now, of course, for the picture story, below the template, you see Senegal's President Honos Samaila Zubeiru. And then, of course, that is all I'll take for this day newspaper this morning.
All right, thank you, Mercy, for those headlines. Let's quickly get to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, which is actually going to be the last on the newspaper review today. Below the head, I have this one which says Nigeria records a 55.2 billion naira trade imbalance with UK. Then Easter, ACF urges prayers for security, economy. The details of that you can actually get on page 35 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Then still in Kaduna State, debt. Kaduna APC suspends women leader for criticizing Governor Sani. A whole lot happening in Kaduna State. And before we actually came up, we're saying something offset about El Rufai, his son, and some activities of the former governor of Kaduna State in Kaduna right now. And someone may be tempted to feel or maybe think some of the things happening in Kaduna to an extent. I don't know, the former governor. Someone may be tempted that he has something to do with it. Maybe. All right, we're not saying he has something to do with it, but then the antecedents may force someone to think towards that direction. Then the big story says KB residents loot government private warehouses. That's to tell you of how bad the hunger has come. Palliatives, not solution to hardship. One of the riders and the governor of Bayelsa State is the one saying that. Then the second rider says Kuka charges Tinubu over food and physical security. I don't know, a whole lot happening. Private warehouses, government warehouses being looted. We heard about this. This has happened before, and it's happening again. You remember during COVID-19, so many lootings happened. And right now, people are looting warehouses belonging to the government and private owners. Then the question is, why are they hoarding these palliatives if people are really hungry? I think that's a question that calls for an answer. And the details of that you can actually find on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And that's going to be the size of the headlines from the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Let's go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return and it will be time for the big story. Don't go nowhere.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleke TV. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleketv, rising star at the fairground.
Welcome back from that break. Outnumbered still live on your screen with Antonia, Ramsey, and of course Mercy. I'm being outnumbered this morning. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. All right, the big story is coming this morning from this day newspaper. It's really big. Inspired by Senegalese election, Atiku rallies opposition to form coalition. 1. Why must you wait? What is in that Senegalese election that has inspired you that you've not seen in Nigeria politics? Atiku. Well, Atiku, it's one candidate that have tried over and over again, but then
it's a true definition.
It's a true definition of perseverance and persistency.
I think it took the word the patient dog eats the
fattest. It's the fattest.
It took it too serious.
It took it too serious. So we're talking about the coalition this morning. Well, coalition meaning trying to form an alliance against the ruling party. Okay, Sonia, I want to ask you a question right now. You said something.
You're already laughing before you ask the question.
No,
okay?
Atiku, I'm actually particular about Atiku this morning.
Okay.
Atiku has been in the scene. Like Mercy said, he's just like the patient dog. Are you anytime soon seeing Atiku eating the fattest bone? Because coalition, so many things come with coalition, you know. Parties are going to come together. Then you think of who to front. And so many things will happen around the table before you front someone, or else you lose woefully. So looking at this idea, is this idea coming at the right time? And do you think this will be the best in favor of Atiku?
I don't think this will be the best in favor of Atiku.
Why?
Because, first of all, let's look at the political system we have in Nigeria and the different political parties we have. Some of them, like Labour Party, for instance, last week we heard that they have issues within themselves that they are trying hard to settle. How much more other parties? Now, if we're talking about a coalition, are they willing to sit down at a round table to pick who fronts, who be their flag bearer, who'd anchor different things in the party? Are they willing to do that? I don't see Atiku and other parties. Remember that other parties also have stronger people that have capacity. So there will be a lot of discord. In fact, is Nigeria willing to go back to the one-party system or two-party system? Are we willing to do that? Would they not bring up issues of ethnicity, religion into it? So there are a lot of sides to look at in this, informing the coalition and going by this. And why is he being inspired by Senegalese election by now? He has been in the system for a very long time. Why did this not come up a long time ago?
Well, I think I was also wondering when I saw inspired by Senegalese election. I was like, this is a big boy who has been in the system for a very long time.
Not too bad, Jane. I'd like to chip in one or two because before now, Atiku had actually called for coalition, I think, a few months back after the election. And he said, the only way he sees that APC would have won the election would be for most of these parties to, of course, come together and form one party. And then speaking on antecedents, you would see that APC is actually, as a result of a coalition, certain parties came together and then they were able to form one party. And then why not, if not, I would always say, because if APC could do it, why not? But the problem, like you said, is who is going to be the big boy? Because everybody has already said, Peter Obi has his own people and Kwankwaso, of course, has his people. Yeah. So now who is going to bend for the other to say, I'm willing to front? Or is it going to be Atiku again? And I'd always, in fact, after the last election, I remember some persons actually outrightly said Atiku shouldn't even come close to any other party again because it just feels like, he's trying to be the Buhari of our time. Of course, Buhari ran several times before he became the president later on. But at the end of the day, people still think, please give up. We are the leaders of tomorrow, we always say. But when is our tomorrow going to come?
Well, as a matter of fact, talking about this, I could remember what happened during the 2023 election when some persons were saying, hey, come on, why not Kwankwaso deputize Peter Obi? And he was like, hey, me, that I've been in the scene, I've been in politics for a very long time. Why should I? Then things fell apart. I think I was privileged to work with a governorship aspirant in Kwankwaso's party. And before the election, I said something. I said, well, these people don't have ground. One, sorry to say, that party was not, they are not organized. But then, it could be that you are in the system for a very long time. You've been in the system for a very long time. But politics is far beyond how old you are in the system. It's a game.
Yeah.
It's a game. You talked about APC. APC, there was a coalition of some parties before they formed APC. And you see the kind of players that came into APC before they became successful. It's not something that you will come with ulterior motive and want to succeed.
Everyone has,
and they shouldn't forget that Tinubu is also warming up for 2027. And you know who the president is when it comes to politics. You understand? Yeah. So as it is right now, I think coalition would be good. But then, who are they going to front? Who is going to be the flag bearer? Who is going to be the big boy? Because Atiku will say, I have the money. I've been running
I have the experience.
I have the
He wants
experience.
to be the godfather.
The godfather. Yeah, it will be better if he becomes
The
a
godfather.
kingmaker.
But no, if you become the kingmaker, then you must have tasted power. You can't keep running.
He
for the
was
same
a,
election.
He was the vice president.
He
the
was
vice
the vice
president.
president. Okay, I'm trying to say that
Tasted the
tasted
presidency.
The presidency.
sort of. I mean, you must have won at something before you can say, "Oh, I want to lead people to run."
I think
for
he
that
has
particular
won at
position.
campaigning consistently.
Oh my God!
He
has won at
he has
campaigning
won.
consistently.
Well, this is going to be the size of the big story this morning on Outnumbered. It's been a very lovely time with the two ladies in the studio who outnumbered me. Thank you, Antonia, for adding your voice to the
Thank you,
conversation. Thank you, Mercy, for adding your voice, bringing your thoughts to the table. Well, this is all, but then go think about it. Coalition, is that the best way to go? My name is Ramsey. Do have a wonderful day. Bye-bye for now.